Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
And here we go. It is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, Fox 2 News app. How's everybody doing today? Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you.
Doing good. I'll fix the earpiece in a second. No big deal. Don't need it for the first segment. Anyway, Ryan and Monty, Tom Mazawey, I got to come to you guys. I got to ask some questions.
Okay.
So as I'm preparing for year one, first time of me doing Twas the Night Before Christmas for my niece Rain, I'm excited. We bought the book yesterday at Myers. Shout out to Myers, by the way. Stafford Studio once again. That was a lot of fun, you guys. But I bought the book, and now I got to practice my inflections, my posture. So as two fathers that have done Twas the Night Before Christmas, give me some pointers, gentlemen.
Maz, if I may.
Please. Floor is all yours.
You have to breathe.
Okay.
Be in the moment.
Gotta be in the moment.
You have to accentuate all the words.
Okay.
Twas the night before Christmas.
Okay, you really
got to be the Braylon Edwards, the theatrical version of yourself. That's how you do it. Tom Mazawey would say
be
you.
Braylon Edwards,
what up,
the theatrical
fellas?
version.
Just be looking at your beautiful niece. Just look at her and talk slow to her, and just see the joy in her eyes, and that will get you through the whole read. You'll know how good you're doing just by looking at her. Just read it and enjoy it and live it, man.
Appreciate
There's
that,
nothing like
gentlemen.
it. With kids, make Christmas. That's all I got to say.
I'm very excited about that. Thank you for that.
Speaking of the kids, that is why we are here today. We are at Lighthouse on Coolidge in Oak Park as part of Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes Hope for the Holidays. 150 families today are going to get to meet Lions players, get haircuts, get socks, shoes, hats, other prizes, and that is why we are here today. Now, the schedule a little bit, during the NFL season, Tuesday is the players' off day.
100%.
But because the Lions play on Saturday this week, they are practicing, so we're pushing the event a little bit later in the day.
Yeah.
Supposed to start at 4. It's going to start at 5 today. So it's a really great thing that Wicked Awesome Wishes and Jeff Okuda is doing, Braylon, and we're happy to be here.
And one thing you can always appreciate about players, like they take time during their seasons. These are guys, these are guys that don't have to do this. It doesn't matter about what they do. They don't have to do these things. They choose to do these things out of the kindness of their heart, whether it's donate money, time, effort, energy, love, passion. They do that. And also, it's during the season. You're talking about guys who have had to been at the facility probably since about 8 a.m. this morning, maybe some earlier if they had treatment. So 7 a.m. they've been at the facility. They're going to have to go out there and practice, get ready for another playoff-like environment and atmosphere down there in Carolina because they're fighting for the playoffs as well. And then go over the practice film after practice and still come out here to Lighthouse, man. You got to take your hat off to the guys for the Detroit Lions, man, for being a part, making somebody's Christmas special this year.
And it starts, Maz, with Jeff Okuda. Look, this is a guy that had a very rough couple of years here in Detroit as a member of the Detroit Lions. And what did he do? He put his head down. He worked out, got treatment, rehabbed, and has really developed into one of the great stories in the NFL this season on the field. And now to ingratiate himself into the community, I think this says all about the guy that you got at number 3 in 2020.
You could almost put him in the comeback player of the year talk. That's how good he has been for this team. And he has taken himself from an Achilles injury. An Achilles injury.
Yeah.
Isn't that at least a year?
Yeah, it's definitely at least a year.
He did it in less.
At least a year, man, sometimes, if not more. You look at there's injuries that you don't want to have, okay? You don't want to have a microfracture of any kind. I've never known a player to come back, and usually those are in the NBA. Never known a player to come back completely from a microfracture, whether it's Amon-Ra, Stoudemire, Penny Hardaway, T-Mac, list goes on. Also, you don't want to have a patella tendon injury. Patella tendon injuries usually last way longer than ACLs and full knee reconstructive surgery. Those things can take upwards of 18 months, maybe even 2 years. And the third one that you do not want to have, Maz, it's that Achilles tendon intended. Yep. And a lot of guys, they don't come back from whether they're young or old. That one's one of those weird injuries where it has nothing to do with if you're 22 versus 32. That one's just very temperamental depending on the body. So the fact that he came back this fast, it talks to what you talk about, his resiliency.
Yep. Remember when it happened to Kobe?
Oh, man.
He
went over to Germany.
He comes in, he shoots the free throw.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes
different.
a special guy to get through this injury and to be as active as he has been. He's in on a whole bunch of tackles. And I remember a couple of weeks ago he was sick in that game. They played against Jacksonville. He was in on that fourth down stop. He's at the bottom of the pile. When he's in the game, he is making a difference, and he is making a difference here with our kids here today. And it's going to be a great event. A lot of people are going to be here. A lot of Lions are going to be here. Some other dignitaries will be here. Lomas Brown, Dan Miller, Dan Dickerson, Tim McCormick, Lindsey Hunter, just to say a few. Eddie Murray's going to be here, former great kicker for the Lions. So a lot of people are putting their time to come here and make these kids have a special holiday.
And you talk about time, too. You know, we're always into giving stuff out, right? We like the presents around Christmas. We like the gifts. But really, it is the time. And the gifts are nice, don't get me 100%. Wrong. But it's the time that these athletes and these dignitaries spend with the kids that really makes a difference in their lives. Hey, I can be like you. You know what I mean? I see somebody that has success, and they are taking interest in me. They're taking, you just mentioned the long day these players are going to have.
Long days, man.
But it matters to these kids and these families that they are still going to be here. I know you used to do this when you were a player as well, and you still do it today, but to take your time out, I think that's more important than just about anything.
I mean, just take it in this perspective or this construct is if someone gives you money for, let's say, Christmas. Not everybody wants money. They're happy with money. I can make things with money. I can go get what I want, etc. But when somebody gives you money, it's cool. Thank you. But when somebody takes the time to go and think about a gift for you, they think about, dang, what will be very special for Ryan and Armani? Let me take the time to go get that gift. Then once I go get the gift, I got to take time out of my schedule to get that gift. And then I got to make it special. But when you get that gift, it means that much more to you because it's the time that was spent in that gift. And it's no different with Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah could just send money over to charities. He could send money over to Wicked Awesome Wishes. He could send money over to these kids in the Lighthouse. But he's bringing his teammates. He's bringing his time. He's bringing their effort. He's bringing their energy. And like you said, some of these kids can have a conversation or they can look up to these guys, Amon-Ra St. Brown or Rodrigo. You look up and say, hey, man, these guys came. They took their time. That's way more special to kids than you signing some jersey and them never getting an opportunity to meet you when you sign it. They'll love the jersey, but they love your time way more.
We are proud to be here as well at Lighthouse in Oak Park. We got Fletch, we got JB with us as well. Shout out to Stick for making this broadcast happen as well. But we're going to get right into it, guys. Last night, Aaron Rodgers.
I enjoyed that game.
So last night I'm talking to Maz.
I won a few bucks.
Maz, did you?
Yeah.
Maz says to me on the way out yesterday, we were going to Meyer.
Okay.
So he parks in front. I park in the back. And I said, "What are you doing tonight, man?" I said, "Oh, we're gonna decorate the tree, but we're gonna have the football game." And I'm really listening. He
was excited for it.
I'm really excited for the broadcast of the Packers and Rams. I first of all, I love that. So he says you enjoyed last night.
I totally did. I love it. I love Monday Night Football.
I just love the way he talks.
I just love it. I mean, you know me. I can watch the Packers at Lambeau every day, as long as Aaron Rodgers is piloting that team. You know, they're not the same Packers. They're not. They let Sammy Watkins go yesterday before the game. You know, what have you done for me lately, right? But I just enjoy when that SOB is quarterbacking for the Packers. I'm one of the guys, probably the few here in Detroit, that have loved watching his career. And I love the guy. I know he's a schmuck, but he's my schmuck.
I wouldn't say you're one of the few because there are a lot of guys that secretly cheer for Green Bay because the Lions have been so bad over the years. They won't admit it now because the Lions are coming back, but you're not alone. I promise you that. It's always fun to watch December games in Green Bay just because, let's call a spade, man. It's the story tradition. It's snow on the field. It's cold. You can see the breath of the frozen tundra. You can see Aaron Rodgers. You know that this is his territory in December. It reminds you of shades of Brett Favre, shades of Bart Starr. So, like, it is fun. I can't lie. As a football fan, you love time to see a Monday Night Football game at Lambeau Field. You love it this time of year. Aaron Rodgers did his thing, but it was against the Rams team that has been disheveled and ugly all year long. Baker Mayfield, he proved that last week it was a flash in the pants, which was good for him. I'm glad he had that moment. But they're just a depleted team all the way around, with the exception maybe Tyler Higbee and a couple other players. Just not a good team. So the Green Bay Packers, they kept their hopes alive by beating up on the Rams team. So the only thing, Ryan, and I know you want to get to it, so I'll save it to you. Aaron Rodgers is a schmuck. And you know why? Please enlighten us.
Just a side note, two of my favorite quarterbacks played against each other last night.
Aaron Rodgers and Baker Mayfield.
No, Baker Mayfield, like that. Maz is Baker Mayfield's father. I'm telling you, he's the only quarterback that Maz gives Google eye for and cannot be logical about. But I love it though. I mean, I've even started to push back on Maz. I got to push back now. That's his guy.
I think Aaron Rodgers. In Aaron Rodgers, we cannot show you the clip because of the YouTube agreement. But Aaron Rodgers in the post game last night, with Lisa Salters, is looking ahead now. Lisa Salters says, now as we look ahead at the next 3 games, all 3 opponents are above 500. I think it was the Dolphins, Vikings,
Vikings,
and Lions.
Yes.
And he stops her and says, well, one of those teams is at 500. And that is on the heels of him saying, after they lost the game in Detroit,
lose to that team.
We can't lose to that team. I literally hate Aaron Rodgers.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I think Aaron Rodgers is on my Mount Rushmore of most hated Detroit sports opponents.
And he's really just gotten there in the last year and a half. Like, he was always kind of there, but I think it was more respect than anything. Now it's turned into pure hate for Aaron Rodgers, and I understand why. The one thing that I will say, and I'm going to get my voice together, ladies and gentlemen. I get some water. Apologize. New York was a rough trip. The one thing I will say is I can appreciate his consistency and his genuineness with his douchebaggery or whatever you want to call it, because he's the same person every time. I told you the story of when I met Aaron Rodgers with Alex Smith in the hotel getting ready to shoot the commercial.
This is perfect.
Like, it's perfect for shooting a commercial for the 2005 NFL Draft. Aaron Rodgers walks over to the front desk. As Alex and I are walking away, he comes up, he introduces himself to myself and Alex, and he says, how you guys doing? Aaron Rodgers, first pick in the NFL Draft. He was that guy then, and he's still this guy now. That's the only thing I can appreciate about it. He stayed the exact same. When you're true to who you are, sometimes, you know what? I don't mind you because you're true to who you are.
I can't think of 4 people that I dislike more being a Detroit sports fan than Aaron Rodgers. He's among the top.
Jordan,
Pippen.
Jordan, yeah, Pippen, but Jordan,
for what he did to Isaiah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of 4 people I don't like more.
LeBron.
I never really hated LeBron because the Pistons run was over.
Bobby Ross,
you know.
No, I got one. Matt Patricia.
Oh, that's a good one.
All 4 people on the most hated Detroit are actually members of a Detroit sports team. I hated Chelios when he was a Blackhawk.
Claude Lemieux.
Claude Lemieux is on that list.
One when you think about it.
So Claude Lemieux, Aaron Rodgers, hated Alex Rodriguez. I hated Nelson Cruz.
There you go, Tiger Killer.
Nelson Cruz is a Tiger Killer.
How about
Tom hated Brady?
I got one for you. How about former coach of the Michigan Wolverines, Rich Rodriguez?
See, you're just mentioning all people that played here or coached here.
I know, but I'm giving you people that you hate.
People are talking about
the object is to get people outside.
Patrick Waugh, Reggie Miller on the chat.
Hey, I gave you the number 1 guy. I thought Pippen was your number 1 to hate.
Yeah, I hated Jordan more than Pippen.
I think for Detroit fans, because you remember you got here just after
Larry
that
Bird.
I think what happened with Detroit is it was Jordan. It was people's perspective. It was
That's
people's
the Jordan
perspective
rules.
that Jordan kept Isaiah off that dream team. And I think for us as Pistons fans, we were like, what? He did that. So then that's where the real hate. It wasn't that Jordan beat the Pistons. It was that he kept Isaiah off that dream team.
It might have been Chuck Daly too after further conversations.
He went with it.
Yeah, because Chuck Daly might have been sick of Isaiah at that time.
Well, I think maybe they told Chuck Daly, if you don't keep him off the team, you ain't coaching this team.
Ron Artest is on that list, perhaps.
Malice at the Palace.
Interesting, but I want to stay with this Aaron Rodgers Packers thing because there's a faction of Lions fans out there that want and need Green Bay to lose a game here.
Yeah.
And this week against the Dolphins, because can you imagine?
Oh, man.
9-7 Detroit at 8-8 Green Bay
For the playoffs.
for a
the last
playoff
spot.
berth on the line in Week 18.
And
are you rooting for that?
And that's what
I
happens.
am.
What happens is that doubt, that insecurity, that nervousness that Dan Miller was talking about that he noticed with the Detroit Lions, with the New York Jets early on in that game when they were playing for something, they played a little different. They played a little tighter. So in that game, it's going to become the experienced team might end up winning that game, and we know who the experience is. It's Aaron Rodgers.
We'll talk about it next, although we just gave it all away in the last minute between Mass and Braylon. My teases are no more. They're no good for anybody. We're just going to continue to talk about what we've said. We'll do it next. Thanks, Mass. Thanks, Braylon.
Episode
Appreciate
1,
it.
August 12th.
Hour and 45 minutes to go. We don't need to get everything
We're all done already.
in the first segment.
Have a nice day,
thank
everybody.
you. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. And we are here at Lighthouse in Oak Park on Coolidge Road here, highlighting Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes and their hope for the holidays. 150 families are going to get a chance to meet Detroit Lions players, get shoes, socks, haircuts, hats, and a number of other prizes here today as part of Hope for the Holidays. Jeff Okuda teaming up with Wicked Awesome Wishes. It is a pretty wicked awesome event. We'll highlight some more things about this event coming up throughout the broadcast. We're going to take a break, come right back, and we'll tell you everything we just said about Aaron Rodgers and the Lions.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, downtown Detroit is all decked out for the holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge in the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway's got a giant slide, winter bumper cars, indoor arcade, plus you can grab drinks at the Lodge, of course, before or after the games. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with DeckedOutDetroit.com.
You know, there's a part of Lions fans out there who are scared, for lack of a better word,
We ain't scared.
of Lambeau Field Week 18 against the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. And that's all fine because the way it looks right now, I mean, you could essentially very well see a 9-7 Lions team going to Green Bay against an 8-8 Packers team for the right to have a postseason
Play
berth.
the Vikings, maybe.
And play the Vikings or the 49ers, however that ends up. It would probably be the 49ers because the Packers do play the Vikings in 2 weeks. So another loss for the Vikings, and they would probably slide down. But I do think this is a different team. I don't think this team is scared of anybody. In fact, I think teams now fear the Detroit Lions, and it does feel like such an old way of thinking. And again, I'm not upset at anybody. And I welcome the Miami Dolphins to beat the Green Bay Packers this week. But still, if they don't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it either. I mean, I think this Lions team is good enough to not only make it to the playoffs, win the rest of their games, but to go in the playoffs and win a game or even two.
100%. And I did spoil the tease. My apologies about that. But there is something that I didn't fail to say in that, and I'm glad I didn't. You look at what the Detroit Lions doing. Everybody that the Lions have beaten the last, you can say, month and a half, these are people facing Lions for the first time. And these are some people, even in the division, facing this particular brand of Detroit Lions for the first time. But there's one guy that's already faced these particular Detroit Lions, and that's Aaron Rodgers. There's one team that's played these particular Detroit Lions, and that's the Green Bay Packers. Talking about going into Lambeau with the way the Lions were on fire, we weren't even thinking that the Green Bay Packers would be in the playoff hunt. So you thought going in there, Aaron Rodgers' only motivation would be to beat the Detroit Lions because they embarrassed him, they beat him, and he hated losing to the Detroit Lions. Well, now you add the extra caveat, Ryan Ermanni. Now they're only not just playing to upset the Detroit Lions and keep them out of the playoffs. They're now potentially playing for the playoffs themselves, too. That is a dangerous combination when you talk about number 12. Like, listen, I know the Detroit Lions are on a roll, but this is the one team in the NFL that they will play this year that's seen them twice. This particularly, because you talk about the Lions when they played Minnesota at first, the offense was good, but you saw what happened in the second half of that game. You saw how that defense was. That's not what Minnesota saw this second time around when the Lions beat them. Green Bay saw this Lions team as they were starting to pick up the pieces and starting to roll. That's the only thing that makes them dangerous, playing them last game of the year, which is January 8th, I do believe.
I'll tell you this right now. As a football fan, you want to see games that mean something. You do. And if the Packers are out of it, and I know the Lions would still have something to play for. If they hold serve, they'll still have something to play for, even if the Packers are out of it. Of course, they still have to beat them to make the playoffs. But don't you want to see them at full strength, or as much full strength as they can be at this year? Don't you want to finally slay the dragon? Don't be afraid. What did Jim Schwartz always say?
We ain't scared.
We ain't scared.
Yeah. We ain't scared.
We ain't scared. Jimmy Handshake. Yeah. I love Jimmy Handshake.
You were in that game, weren't you, Bray, by the way?
100%. And I'm going to tell you like this. Jim Schwartz didn't want no smoke. Schwartz didn't want no smoke. And I understand he's a tough guy. He's a defensive guy. He's probably an East Coast cat. I understand that.
I like them.
Jim Harbaugh would have knocked Jim Schwartz smooth out. But going back to that, Maz is right. They're not scared. 100% they are not scared. And you know what? I want to see it, too. And the reason why I want to see it, you claim that this is the BNL. That's what they say now.
It's brand new Lions.
Exactly. That's the term now. You claim this is BNL. That was very close to something else. But you claim this is BNL. Not SOL. Well, if it is BNL, then you guys can handle the pressure of going into Lambeau January 8th and beating the Green Bay Packers, who are also vying for the playoffs. You guys can go and beat Aaron Rodgers, who's owned this division for the better part of 12 years now, matching his jersey number. If you really are BNL, then you want all the smoke so that you can prove to the Detroit fan base, yes, we are for real. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. That's what the Detroit Lions should want, and I agree with Maz on that.
Don't you want another shot at them? You beat them 15-9. Over at Ford Field. Hell of a game.
And you claim to be better.
And they are better than that team was. That team was good. This team is way better. It's like I told you, I would love a rematch with the Patriots. They abused us with Bailey Zappi. I would love a rematch with that team. But you don't get them. That's the way it is. You got a rematch with Minnesota. You took care of that. You'll get a rematch with the Packers, and I want them at full strength, or as full as they are, because they're not very good. They're not. No. I mean, they are not the old Packers. You could beat this. The Lions could beat that team. You got to beat them. You got to slay the dragon to move on. And then hopefully you get the Vikings in the next round. And then guess what the next day is? It's the national championship day.
Yeah.
Don't you want to beat the Packers, make the playoffs, and have Michigan beat whoever the hell's standing on the national championship night? I do.
I'm glad you brought that up. But you know what? I'll say from using it. I'll tease it. Basically, I'm telling you. Can I tease? If
please,
you will? I'll tease. I'll tell you who I want Michigan to really play and why. Like that's what we want to talk about. When we get to the Michigan segment, we won't do it now. We'll stay with Aaron Rodgers and the Pack in Detroit. But when we get to talking Michigan and Max Duggan declaring, I want to talk about who I want Michigan to play and exactly why.
I'm going to try to stay consistent here with my Packers. Because in the all off season and the preseason, as soon as Davante Adams left this football team, I said one thing about it, and I was consistent about it the whole way, and I'll be true to it now. It's a 7-win football team, the Green Bay Packers without Davante Adams. And they were a 4-8 football team and just beat two of the worst teams in the league, the Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. And because they just beat the two worst teams in the league, or two of the worst teams in the league. Everybody thinks the Green Bay Packers are back. Right. Folks are going to get steamrolled this week against the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. The Dolphins are going to steamroll them. And you know what's going to happen the following week? The Vikings are going to pound Green Bay. Yeah. This is not a good football team, and I think I was even wrong. Maybe they're not a 7-win football team. Maybe they're a 6-win football team. So all these visions of, are you scared to play them at the end of the year? Are you not scared to play them? Do you want to play a big football game? Fine, we'll play any big football game you want. I don't care. Where, when, how, I'll put these Detroit Lions up against anybody, but it's not going to be against the Packers in Week 18 because that team is going to get smoked this week against Miami. They suck, Green Bay. 100%. They're no good at all, this football team.
They're definitely going to get smoked. They played against a bad Rams team. That's kind of how we opened up.
Aaron Rodgers sucks, too, by the way.
Uh-oh. Don't get Maz going. Yeah. Hold on, Maz, before you jump at him. Let me
I'm not even bothering.
You're absolutely right. They're going to get steamrolled. And the reason why they're going to get steamrolled, I watched that Dolphins game against the Buffalo Bills because I was trying to see, they talked about make it colder. Make it colder. You see Michael McDaniel. You see him going out there. You see him doing, like, everything he plays is future. He's getting after it. He's cool. He's chilling. He's vibing. The players are loose. They're talking about, we're not scared to talk Super Bowl. Tyreek Hill. Every time you see Tyreek Hill, he's going after somebody or something as it relates to himself and how good he is or how good his Dolphins are or how good his quarterback is. They went up to Buffalo in the snow. Now, it didn't snow till it'd be way before the game and then at the end, but it doesn't matter. They were winning that game in Buffalo. It still was cold. It still was Buffalo. This is Bills Mafia, mind you. This is where they reign supreme. Mm-hmm. This is the North. You want to talk about Game of Thrones reference? Mm-hmm. This is the North. And they were leading that game. They should have won that game if the Buffalo Bills didn't have one of the best guys doing it at the helm. That Dolphins team is still very good, and I believe they reminded people of that this past Sunday.
They host Miami hosts on Christmas Day. So Green Bay is going to the Heat. It ain't the other way around. I wish it was in Lambeau because I love watching games at Lambeau, but this one is in Miami, so they'll definitely have the edge. I got to find the spread on that game. It's got to be Miami's got to be given 4.5
right? At least.
I don't know. I haven't even seen it.
I'll take a look
obviously,
at
it wasn't out yesterday because the Packers
still playing the game.
That's was still playing a game. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, you'll hear from Dan Campbell talking about these younger guys because that's how this team is getting it done. The youthful of these Detroit Lions. You'll hear from them, hear from him next. You're also hear about one of the veterans. Dan Campbell talks about Alex Anzalone, who's really played well, and we have to talk, Braylon, about what happened last night because the Packers beat the Rams. Where the Rams pick is right now, my goodness, this thing is looking good.
It is 4.5, by the way. Miami, 4.5.
See, hanging out with you guys too long, I now know how to call spreads.
First, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. You know it. At this time of the year, the sun kind of disappears on us. So what better way to keep looking good? Get that tan, right? Go to Chili Peppers Tanning. No excuse either. 27 locations and more on the way. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning.
$5?
And you get the cleanest salons in the D. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at WoodwardSports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit customhealthcenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Centron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, and now they have combined all three of their flavors into a one-of-a-kind limited edition six-pack. That's right, cranberry, sugar-free, and the original. They want to recharge the energy, so that's why they've teamed up with the Detroit Red Wings and WoodwardSports.com. So let them drink it, live it with Centron.
We've got some guys in this locker room that have won now. I mean, we do. You know, Alex has won, Jamal's won, Brockers has won. Leafs won. And then we got a whole slew of young guys, that don't really know. They don't know any better. And that's kind of a good thing, honestly. They're new to the league, or they don't really know what this is all about. So they're just kind of, hey, you tell me what it's all about. I'm just going to go, though.
Such a great point. Dan Campbell talking about these younger guys. They just don't know any better, right?
Yeah.
That could be a good thing and a bad thing. And I think in this case, it is a good thing. We are broadcasting from Lighthouse on Coolidge in Oak Park, highlighting Jeff Okudah teaming up with Wicked Awesome Wishes and hope for the holidays. Later today, 150 families going to be able to meet Lions players, get haircuts, get socks, shoes, hats, other prizes here at Lighthouse. So we're excited to be a part of it. One of the things about that youthfulness of the Detroit Lions is they don't know any better about the Lions' history. Right? I mean, They put that helmet on and they don't feel like they're wearing 60-plus years of baggage. They're just playing. They don't know that they shouldn't be going to Lambeau and winning a football game. They're just ready to play it. They don't care about going to New York and playing the Jets and the Giants and sweeping those teams. They just do.
Here,
right.
Finish them. Lions don't know they don't belong there, but they do.
It's the real thing about it is, you talk about sometimes, a lot of times when you're still young, you haven't had time to build up bad habits. That's what you talk about. Like when you're older, you've built up bad habits. You've built up fears. You've built up danger zones. You've built up boundaries. You've built up places you don't think you belong. You can't cross. Like that's just naturally what happens over time in life. But these young guys, they don't know that yet. They haven't built up those nervousness. They haven't built up those insecurities, those doubts. You talk about the University of Michigan Wolverines. These guys don't know how to lose to Ohio State. Like going into that game against Ohio State, It's not the same Ohio State game because these guys don't know about the past. They don't know about the whoopings. They don't know about the feel of failure and nervousness. Same thing with these Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions, they're experiencing success. They're just going day to day. Robert Saleh talked about the same thing when I talked about him. He was talking about the Jets, but it's the same thing because he was talking about young guys. He said, man, these guys are just going. They play one game, they forget about it, they go to the next. They play one game, they get about it and go for the next. Because these guys are all talented. They have huge egos. That's like the young culture now. They have big egos, but they can go out there and actually achieve these things. They can go out and actually do these things. So being young, sometimes it works in your favor.
I love where this team is right now, and just keep doing what you're doing. Last week they didn't play their best game offensively. They did play a pretty good defense, but no excuses. They didn't play well, but you know what? It could have been different had Jared Goff hit Jamison Williams in stride. It might have been different had they scored at the goal line. Could have been different. You don't know any of that stuff. And again, on the other side of the ball, the Jets almost won that game at the end too because Braxton Berrios gets behind the defense twice, and they got to close the gap on that. But the way these young guys are stepping up, that's what gives me the most hope about this team. They're not the 2017 Lions that got into the playoffs. Yeah. This is a different team. This is a team that other teams are fearing. They're the national darling. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. I think they're becoming like the national darlings of the NFL. They're getting talked about. Brian Baldinger, Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick, Ryan Clark. They're on the bandwagon, these guys. And it's great to hear. We'll have Dan Miller on a little bit later. But they didn't play their best game against the Jets. If they play that same game against Carolina, they could probably win it. But Carolina, again, outside chance to win that hapless NFC South. And Steve Wilkes got them playing good. I know the Steelers came up and nipped them last week, but they'll probably bounce back and play better this week. So watch out for that game. That's the game I've been most scared about, as stupid as it sounds, is that Carolina game, because you got to get up for the Panthers.
Yeah, three things about, what Maz just said, breaking it down. The one thing about it is they're beating people and they're not even playing their best games. That's the first thing to talk about. For the Lions, they usually had to have played their best game to beat someone, right? They had to score 42 points. They've had to have Jared Goff or Matt Stafford or whoever it's been in the past, had to have somebody get off. They've had to have defense to score on defense, maybe a Khalif Raymond punt return like against this. But now they're finding ways to win where they don't have to play their best. Khalif Raymond with the punt return, the guy that's played so hard, worked so hard to get back to something. Like he thought he was not going to be in the NFL anymore. He started off on the other side. He started off with the Jets. But just they're finding wins on defense. They're finding wins on offense. They're finding wins within different players. I mean, look at the play that they win the game on essentially. Like, look at that play call up. Look at that being the guy that wins the game for the Detroit Lions. They're finding ways to win these games. It doesn't matter anymore. Everybody in the NFL, once you get to this point, it doesn't matter if you're getting lucky. You're going to need luck to get in there. You're going to need a ball to bounce your way or not. It doesn't matter about what almost happened. It matters what happens. And the Lions are now on the right side of wrong, man. Like, I love that, man.
It seems like everything is going their way lately.
Yeah.
And that includes the way that they're Los Angeles Rams are playing. They lose last night to the Packers. They're now 4-10 on the year. And you look at the standings in the NFL, and they're the third worst team in the NFL. And that means they have the third pick in the NFL draft coming up in 2023, which goes to the Lions. The Denver Broncos and the Rams play each other this week, so that's a huge game. I mean,
come on, Denver.
That's almost as big a game as the Chiefs and Seahawks for the Lions. It really is, because you could talk about getting anywhere from the third pick, solidifying a third pick,
to maybe,
or even move up to a second pick, to maybe dropping back to like 12 or 14.
So let me ask you this. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Let's imagine watching the Rams, watching the trajectory and the pace that it looks like they're on. They're on the pace, it seems, to give us the number 2 pick in the draft, at least solidify number 3, or excuse me, your Detroit Lions, the number 3 and number 2 pick in the draft. Now that you may have a chance to draft both the players that you may want to draft, let's humor ourselves and say that Bryce Young does not go first overall to the Houston Texans. Let's say you're sitting at number 2 and you have the options of Jalen Carter and you have Bryce Young sitting there at number 2. Now does your logic of the best player, or now does your logic, because both of these are true, or now does your logic of the quarterback, finally getting that quarterback? Because if you're sitting at 2, you can get 2 transitional players.
Don't do that to me.
Don't
do that to me.
Sounds so good.
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, the Rams are doing it to you. Starting Baker Mayfield, everybody being out this year, everybody sitting out because of injury, season-ending injury, elective surgery, or whatnot. The Rams are where they are, okay? It is what it is. The Rams are doing that to you, not me, Ryan.
I couldn't imagine, first and foremost, I couldn't imagine Houston having the number 1 overall pick and not taking Bryce Young. But
we're not talking
hypothetical.
Okay, there we are.
Hypothetical, I think I would still take my guy, Will Anderson, or Jalen Carter, whoever didn't go number 1, because I think this team is ready to compete for a championship, and a Super Bowl championship within the next 2 to 3 years.
Right.
I think this team is going to have a Super Bowl. They're going to win a division next year, I believe.
Right.
If you win a division, you got a chance to win a Super Bowl, I think.
Here's my fear with that, Ryan, and mine. Here's the fear. Let's keep it to the Cowboys. Let's keep it to the Cowboys right now, because we talked a little bit about them, and I told you they have one concern mainly. It's the quarterback. It's Dak Prescott. This guy that makes $47 million a year. This guy that makes $75 million a year for last year's season alone. But they're worried about Dak Prescott. They have the D-line that they want. They have the best defensive player now with Nick Bosa playing like he's playing, they have 1A and 1B. Nick Bosa's 1B, Micah Parsons 1A. They're 1A, 1B. They have 1A, best player in defense. Trayvon Diggs gives up not nearly as many yards as he does. They even have a backside corner now. They have CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is turning into the reason why they got rid of Amari Cooper. He's turning into that. You got a couple different tight ends outside of Dalton Schultz. Tyron Smith is now back, the offensive line. Tony Pollard is now taking over, and he's moving that out, much like the Detroit Lions and how that offense looks and how those players are coming on. The only question is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott strikes fear in the hearts of the Dallas Cowboys in terms of being able to win a Super Bowl or to go in there. They don't even know if he can beat Gardner Minshew this particular coming week. Is that what you want for the Detroit Lions with Jared Goff, where everything is good, every place, and then you look at Jared Goff and you're like, But I don't know if Jared Goff can go to Kansas City and beat Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if Jared Goff.
Let me be more clear. Let me be more clear than I was. If the Lions have a top 3 pick, I think they should get one of the 2 defensive studs there.
Gotcha.
Because I think Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are absolute game wreckers. Downright can't miss guys. That's what I think those guys are. And if you insert, and it's probably unfair to compare Jalen Carter to a Aaron Donald type player.
That's what he essentially aspires to be.
But that's what you're trying to get.
Yeah.
If you put Aaron Donald on this Lions defense, how would you feel about this team?
Let's say Fletcher
forward?
Cox.
If you put Fletcher Cox on this Lions defense, how would you feel about
damn
moving
good
forward? You'd feel
damn
good.
Damn good.
Damn good. So that's what I would do. And I'd feel damn good moving forward. If you put Kyler Murray or
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me just do
I
this.
don't know. I like it. Okay. I don't know.
You really don't know what you have in Josh Pascal yet. Because you might have your guy on the defensive line already. Brad Holmes might have already picked him. So I'm just saying, don't jump ahead. Let's win these 3 games. Let's worry about the Rams at a later date.
But I think what I'm trying to say is there are 3 players in this draft that are can't-miss guys.
Yeah.
So
well, you think they are.
That's what I think. Right.
Well, we don't know anybody that can't miss until their career's over.
Exactly.
So there's no such thing. But to your point, I agree.
I think there's 3 players that are
Let's
here.
just, for math's sake, let's say 3 elites.
3 elite players here, and then everybody else is below those guys.
Okay.
So I'm rooting hard for the Rams to lose.
Well, yeah. We all are.
Unless you need the Rams to beat Seattle in that final week. Then,
true.
Then I would be a hardcore Rams fan and worry about the ramifications.
I think Seattle's going to be behind the Lions when it's all said and done
by this week.
Yeah, and the Lions will control their own destiny.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at it. Beat Carolina. Don't worry about Seattle.
Ryan called the Giants. I called Seattle.
You did.
I called Seattle.
Yeah.
The big thing with Seattle. Look, I saw the same thing you saw for the most part. Yeah. I just couldn't see Geno Smith and that young defense maintain that for the whole season. I just couldn't see it. And the same thing with that. Like, New York shouldn't have won that game. Like, it should have been another win for you, but I just can't see those teams sustaining wins. And I agree with you on Seattle.
And by the way, I still think it's a possibility that the Packers and the Lions could get into the playoffs. I think the Giants are a mess.
Yeah. No, the Giants have a good lead now.
Yeah, because they're 8 and 5.
Yeah. I think they can lose out.
Yeah, that tie helps though. That
I really think they can lose out and go 8-1. They're going to lose this week to Minnesota. Minnesota's got to feel real good about themselves now. Can I see this? You know what? No, we'll do the standings next because Minnesota's got to feel real good about themselves now. Potentially.
Got a nice easy
with Philadelphia's injury to Jalen Hurts. Are they gonna? What are they gonna look like?
Speaking of that, we got to talk some MVP stuff, man.
Do it. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, tells the bad guys one thing:
stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you. Stay safe. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuffa Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization, we serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Motor City Christmas, the most wonderful time of the year. Sleigh bells ring and caroling, songs of love and cheer. Lights shine over me and you, walking down Woodward Avenue.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and a safe and happy new year from the Feldman Automotive family.
Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort food from Big Boy. How about trying that classic meatloaf or the Cajun chicken Alfredo? And how about breakfast? Best meal, right? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The lumberjack, the Santa Fe garden, and the blockbuster. Try them all out at your local Big Boy today.
Big Boy, and we are here at Lighthouse on Coolidge in Oak Park. Hope for the holidays. Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes teaming up to help out over 150 families here in our area. Today they're going to get to meet some Lions players, get haircuts, socks, shoes, hats, other prizes here. Jeff Okuda and the Detroit Lions players giving back, teaming up with Wicked Awesome Wishes and our friends from Lady Jane's.
You know, Tracy Walker was one of the guys that we invited. And just to show you what kind of guy he is, you know, you got to remind people a lot that they have to, you know, I invited him to a charity event a month ago. And you got to, you want to remind people. How about him writing me yesterday saying, hey, Maz, what time do you guys want me there? Out of the blue.
That's great.
What time do you want me there? And then we changed the time a couple of times because of the way Lions practice is going. It'd be like Jeff Okuda coming back. This is a hell of a team to root for. That's all I got to say.
Does feel like a family, bunch of good guys, right? Doesn't it feel like that? You want to root for these guys?
I love this team. I
being
love
able to
this
do
team.
all this stuff.
Even Jared Goff.
Show me the. What a jerk. What a jerk.
I didn't mean anything by it. I'm just, I always say get a quarterback. I appreciate him.
Right.
Still get a quarterback.
Hey, let me throw up the NFL playoff standings here, guys. This is where the Lions are. They're sitting there right with the Seahawks at 7-7. Commanders, Giants, Cowboys. Cowboys 10-4.
Yeah,
10-4.
They dropped last week. They lost to the Jags.
I was wondering if they had a shot at shot at 5. No, they don't have a shot at 5.
They have 5 right now.
Yeah,
they're number 5 right now. The Cowboys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the Lions, so they have a shot at 5 because I think they got a shot at 6.
Okay,
I think they got a shot at 6. I think the Commanders are done, and I think the Seahawks are done. Am I a bad person for thinking that?
Why are the Commanders done?
Well, I think because
they got robbed on Sunday. Well, absolutely robbed.
Well, the Lions own the tiebreaker with them, and I think they go to San Francisco and lose this week.
Okay, fair enough.
So
fair enough.
That's where I'm at with them.
So they're 7-7-1 then.
Yeah.
And you think the Giants are going to lose to the Vikings? That makes them 8-6-1.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lions would move up to 8-7.
Well, the interesting thing here, Bray, too, is where Philadelphia sits in all this now, because Philadelphia is going to play a major role in the wild card with who they have left, because Philadelphia has the Cowboys, the Saints,
and
who,
G-Men.
by the way, the Saints still fighting for a division championship at 5-9.
Pathetic.
And the Giants. But Jalen Hurts is now on the fritz a little bit.
Sprained shoulder. That's not a little bit. That's a lot of bit.
This from Adam Schefter. Eagles quarterback MVP candidate Jalen Hurts uncertain to play on Saturday against the Cowboys due to a sprained shoulder that he suffered during Sunday's win over the Bears. Hurts was hurt late in the third quarter when Bears defensive end Trevis Gibson drove him to the ground. So is this something that he's going to be dealing with now for some time? I don't know about the injury. Is that something that might hinder him not just this week, but weeks down the road.
It's a sprained shoulder. He'll be fine. He's 13-1. He's the best player on the best team so far this year for the Philadelphia Eagles. They'll be fine. They have Gardner Minshew who will step in. Gardner Minshew is well-equipped. And you know why he's well-equipped? It's because all the things that the Eagles did in terms of even on the offseason, bringing in guys, the guys they signed, and during the year. They made the trade for Robert Quinn. They bought in Ndamukong Suh, who Detroit knows well. You see that Jordan Davis is coming back now, so he's back healthy. They'll be perfectly fine. And to your question, he'll be fine. AC joint, sprain, shoulder sprain, he'll be okay. If they have to sit him out the rest of the season, he'll be fine, and they'll be fine. Nothing will change in terms of the lead in the NFC. They still will be the number 1 seed. They'll be fine. So moving forward, the Philadelphia Eagles will be fine, and so will Jalen Hurts. Maz, you asked about the Washington Commanders. Yeah. They got to play the Cowboys. They don't. They have to play the 49ers. That's a loss. They got to play the Browns. The Browns are still fighting. Browns are playing ugly football, but in the wintertime, they control the ground with the running game as well as that defense and Myles Garrett. And then they play the Cowboys last game of the season. So it's very easy that the Washington Commanders won't win another game, or at least they go 1-2. So very rare, very possibly the Detroit Lions, Ryan, to what you say, sneak to the 6th spot.
Hey, if the Commanders and Seahawks both lose this week and the Lions win, the Lions are 7th already. They jump into the 7th spot.
Yeah, they control their own destiny with 2 to play.
Correct. Big win this week. Gotta win.
Important. Braylon, you were asking the question in the last segment about Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts. What if he doesn't play this week, or what if he misses 2 games, or hell, even the rest of the regular season? What are his MVP chances?
So the reason why I asked that question is you look at who it's between right now. This is a 2-man race. Now you can have Josh Allen somewhere floating as a close third. It's a 2-man race. This is Patrick Mahomes, and this is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a guy that is counted for 38 touchdowns. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards. He has 22 or 24 passing touchdowns, and his team is 13-1. I repeat, his team is 13-1. This man can win MIP and MVP in the same year. Hasn't been done that many times. But the reality of it is nobody is on Patrick Mahomes' level. What he is doing, when you look at Jalen Hurts is amazing. This is how I make the conversation very simple. You don't need to break down stats. You don't need to break down what this guy is doing, how many passing touchdowns this guy has. Here's one way to break it down fast. If you put Patrick Mahomes on the Eagles, are they the same team? Mm-hmm. Probably better. Put Jalen Hurts on that same Kansas City Chiefs team. They may not be in the playoffs.
Right.
Like if you look at and I understand you still have Travis Kelce, but teams are starting to double Travis Kelce. Teams are starting to press Travis Kelce at the line of scrimmage and putting safety help over top. Travis Kelce hasn't been getting off the last 2 games. Or the last 3 games in terms of how he had in terms of scoring touchdowns. You look at what he is doing and talking about Patrick Mahomes, finding receivers that aren't necessarily playing the best, finding the receivers that are on their 3rd team, finding receivers that he's finding ways to make plays. Jalen Hurts is not finding Juju Smith-Schuster. He's not finding Valdez-Scantling. He's not finding Sky Moore. He's not finding McKinnon out of the backfield. He's not doing the little things that Patrick Mahomes is doing. Even with Jalen Hurts, who's having a tremendous year, and it sucks that he plays in the era of Patrick Mahomes because he's definitely deserving of an MVP. It just ain't this year.
It's just kind of like Michael Jordan, though. When Michael Jordan was playing, Charles Barkley shouldn't have been the MVP. Some of these other guys shouldn't have been the MVP.
But you don't want to give it to the guy every year?
It's the same with LeBron. LeBron could win the MVP every single year, but you don't want to give it to LeBron every year. I don't know why you don't want to give it to LeBron every year, but that's what Patrick Mahomes is in the NFL compared to what those guys are in the NBA.
I agree, but this is the one year when you look at the Chiefs for the offensive side of this year, it's not like looking last year where Clyde Edwards-Helaire was really good. The running game was good. You look at McKinnon, you look at McCole Hardman, you look at Tyreek Hill, you look at Travis Kelce, you look at Sammy Watkins. You had a ton of guys, and then you had the best quarterback going. This year, the running game has been trash.
Right.
They've been trying to figure out Isaiah Pacheco. Is it Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Is it McKinnon? They've been trying to figure that out all year. The wide receivers, Juju hurt the first 4 games.
How soon before Sammy Watkins goes back to Kansas City?
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon. Familiarity is key.
Right.
Or OBJ.
When you get into the playoffs, familiarity is key. So the big thing with that is he's doing more with less. He has Travis Kelce, but teams are finding ways to isolate Travis Kelce. So I think when you look at it that way, that guy deserves MVP. He's the best player in the NFL, and he's doing the best with less. That's why he deserves it.
I'm interested to see how the Eagles will play if Jalen is down. I think you got to sit him the next 2 weeks. I hate it. Just on a side note, I'm in the fantasy Super Bowl, and he's my quarterback. And I know a lot of people out there would hate for that to happen because you're playing for money. I mean, let's break it down to the human factor. Us guys that don't play, we play fantasy ball. And it would suck that if he didn't play. Last night, the Packers sitting on the ball on the 1 yard line at the end of the game. I mean, if you got the over, you're dying. You're absolutely suffering with it. It's just, what are they going to do? So what is Sirianni going to do? Is he going to play his quarterback and try to knock out the Cowboys once and for all and lock up that number 1 seed? Or is he going to sit him, like Gardner Minshew, who is a pretty good quarterback, started for Jacksonville a couple of years back. He's a wild card guy, good backup. But if he's piloting your team, I think the Cowboys have a hell of a shot to win that game. So we'll see what Nick Sirianni does. We're not going to know until Sunday game time. I'll guarantee you that.
I think they already have the number 1 seed sewn up. They already beat Eagles one. They already beat them one time, and I know it was with Cooper Rush, but they won already, so they own the head-to-head. Not to mention they have a 3-game lead, plus they have the head-to-head, so they could sit him initially and still win. They could sit him the last 3 games of the season.
But San Fran might pass them. Minnesota might pass them. Those are the teams that they can't control that.
They got a 2-game lead with 3 to play.
Right. So if they lose all 3, and the other team wins all 3,
they should beat the Saints at home.
They're number 1. Just saying.
It's a lot. It's a lot of ifs, and there's too many for me to calculate. The way I look at it is like this: look at the Philadelphia Eagles. What has everybody been saying all year about the Philadelphia Eagles? Nobody's been saying Jalen Hurts is amazing. Nobody's been saying that. Oh man, yeah, it's Fletcher Cox. They've been talking about one thing and one thing only. They have the best full, complete roster in the NFL. I can name you each and every one of the 22 starters for the Philadelphia Eagles. That team is built to win no matter who is at quarterback. And it just so happens that you got a guy playing quarterback that actually has been to the playoffs, that has won a game in the playoffs, that knows how to play. They have the best running attack, the best offensive line. They have A.J. Brown, one of the best wide receivers, and they have Devontae Smith. So they'll be fine with him. You got to sit him this week.
I think one of the bigger stories, though, too, is if you do sit him longer than this week, how much longer do you sit him? Let's just give him the number 1 seed right away. I mean, is he
send him to the playoffs?
Is he not going to play a football game for a month? What does that do for Jalen Hurts? I mean, I got to believe if he's sitting for a month, they're not playing their best football. Timing is off, things like that at this late in the season. I think San Francisco is as good a team as anybody right now in that NFC. San Francisco is. But Philadelphia is right there.
Yeah.
And if they're not playing their best football, if Jalen Hurts is not, timing isn't down, just coming off the injury, if he hadn't played for a month, man, look how Lions, baby.
Oh, Lions.
Can you imagine? No, but listen, that's who the Lions would play if they won a playoff game. They would be the 7 seed. Going to Philadelphia to face Jalen Hurts and played in a month?
Remember the last time they went to Philadelphia in the playoffs?
All right, I need you guys. Thank you, man. Bring up the real. I need you guys to pipe down for a second. Look, Jalen Hurts has been in rhythm all year long, all season long. He's been killing it. If he takes some time off for his shoulder, he'll still be fine because the one thing about Jalen Hurts, how else does he kill you? Not just with his arm. He kills you with his legs as well. He will be perfectly fine if you rested him. Do you want him to play this week and get injured even more, or do you want to rest the guy, let him get some rest him next week against the Saints, and then get ready for the playoffs?
Just a reminder, Bray, people have been telling me to pipe down since I said Lions 10 wins.
But we're not talking about the Lions. We're talking no, don't do that. We're talking about the Eagles.
10 wins.
Oh, you're the only one that gets right on the show. Okay.
I told you.
Okay.
But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. At Custom Health Centers, it is your customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the ways that your weight affects you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Custom Health Centers has had over 20,000 success stories. I'd like to believe that I'm one of them. Start losing weight today. They take the willpower out of weight loss, whether it's 20 pounds, 120 pounds. Hey, it's a pretty good gift, too. Call Dr. Jason at Custom Health, 844-789-THIN. That number again, 844-789-THIN.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes present Hope for the Holidays. Jeff Okuda gives his financial support, time, and love for the city of Detroit with Chad Johnson and his amazing foundation, Wicked Awesome Wishes. Together, Jeff and Chad have been game planning all year long to make this Christmas one to remember for underprivileged children and their families. Special thanks to Lions players Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tracy Walker, Will Harris, and more, along with Lions alumni Lomas Brown and Joyak Bell, and the awesome people at Lighthouse Community Building in Oak Park. Together, we'll make sure every child has new shoes, warm coats, hats, and socks, plus free haircuts to help everyone feel their best. And don't forget Woodward Sports' Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, and Darren McCarty will be there too. Hope for the holidays from Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes.
Whether you're looking to buy, invest, or sell a home, Mike Phillips is your guy. 23 years in the game, and he is number one for a reason. That's the longevity in this game. And Keller Williams Legacy, where he's located at, they believe in community. They have 1 million people to get you right, to get you everything that you want and everything you need, whether you're a fan or a player. Helping you get what you want is what he is going to do. 313-403-0000. 313-403-0011. Game on.
Oh, yeah. It's time now for the Monroe Street Midway Minute.
Monrover.
You know it. The Midway has swapped the roller skating. That's right. Basketball and mini golf, that's summer stuff. Now we got the giant Arctic slide, the winter bumper cars, an indoor arcade, and putt. That's right. Hockey putt with free entry into the site. Enjoy a variety of new activities aimed at creating an exceptional winter experience for everyone. How about those winter bumper cars? Buckle up for a bumpy ride. Go for a spin and try not to spin out on the slick rink. How about the Arctic slide? I want to see Ryan on the Arctic slide. Have an Arctic blast. Ride an inner tube down the 20-foot high, 80-foot long slide. Brought to you by Come Play Detroit. By the way, riders, you got to be at least 42 inches tall, so I'm out. Exactly. Putt. Go for a golden one. Grab a hockey stick and shoot the puck into the net. Part of a 9-part course brought to you by Come Play Detroit. That is free, by the way, in the Midway Arcade. If you want to warm up a little bit, get in the games, try your hand at shooting hoops, beating supervillains, and more with some friendly competition. Some great food there. They got burgers, pierogies, homemade chili, chicken sandwiches, and more. And, of course, the main man will be there. Ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus will be on site November 18th all the way to December 22nd, Thursday and Fridays, 4 to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sundays, 12 to 4. Also, that is free. Coming soon, the Woodward Sports Winter Olympics. You'll be able to compete against Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards, Adam, Ryan Ermanni, myself, the Woodward Sports Heavyweights, Neil Rule, Monroe Street Midway Games, T. Foss will even be there. Check out deckedoutdetroit.com for all of your winter fun information.
That was funny.
The great Tom Mazawey.
He didn't know what he was doing. Your piece of paper.
You're like this the whole way,
the whole time.
There you go.
Maz like this the whole time.
I need glasses.
You'll even be able to compete against Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermanni. And
I need glasses.
We are at the Lighthouse on Coolidge in Oak Park. Jeff Okuda giving back to this community, teaming up with Wicked Awesome Wishes. Hope for the holidays. 150 families going to be on hand later this evening, and they will meet Lions players, get haircuts, socks, shoes, hats, other prizes as well. Braylon Edwards doing his best Tom Mazawey impersonation.
I also don't want to give you germs. So.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know,
Nah, I'm over here, man.
Doing good,
I
man.
know you're German.
You're doing good.
My apologies, Howie. Howie Mandel.
You know, if it wasn't that time of the season,
This is
you
true.
know what I mean? The kids
This is
are
true.
finally healthy now. All they need is
Get over it, Ryan.
Nah, I'm just,
kids are finally. We've been sick in the Ermanni household for like 6 weeks. I
this
finally
is true.
got a healthy
That's what it
kid
is.
now.
You don't want to
Man,
get back there. We have been talking
finally
for a
got
minute.
healthy kids for 3 days. So
You're like, can we at least make it to Sunday? Can we make it to Sunday?
Just get to Sunday with no more illness, man. Please.
You going to another Broadway show on Saturday or Sunday?
No.
To miss the game?
It's Christmas.
I know. That's right. It's Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve,
Holy
Saturday,
crow.
man.
It's Christmas, man.
Man,
Christmas
and
time,
Mass
baby.
starts at like 4 o'clock.
Whatever happens after Christmas, I don't care. I just want to get
Said
to
just to
Christmas.
I need to be good until
Right.
7 p.m.
Exactly.
Sunday.
Exactly. I don't care what happens after that. All bets are off. Hour number 2 of the program, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody in the WoodwardSports.com chat. Everybody on Fox 2 Detroit and the Fox 2 app. We certainly appreciate that. However you are consuming Woodward Sports, we say thank you so much. Ryan, Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, Fletch, and JB are here. Stick here as well with us.
Lady Jane's in the building.
Absolutely.
Setting it up. Looking good over there, ladies.
Place is looking good. I want to go around the NFL. Dan Miller going to join us in about 10 minutes
wait.
from now.
We'll start last night,
Yeah.
of course, Monday Night Football in Green Bay, 24-12. Packers get the job done over the Rams. Rams, well, the quickest exit by a Super Bowl champion in NFL history. They are eliminated already with 3 weeks to go in the year. So goodbye, L.A.
It was an interesting, too. I saw a very funny meme that was talking about the best one-hit wonders, and I had some musicians, and they had the Los Angeles Rams. And when you think about it, they are a one-hit wonder. Now, they had injuries this year, start off early this year with injuries. But losing Von Miller was a huge piece. Losing Odell Beckham was a huge piece. It's going to be interesting to see this team try to bounce back next year because Ryan and Maz, I'm being honest. I'm being very honest. I don't know if this Los Angeles team can get back to what they were last year. Last year was a special year. They didn't have a running game. So that's the one thing you can say. Well, you can add a running game and kind of help. But no Odell, no Von Miller. Some guys have left.
Draft picks.
No draft picks. Their DBs, their secondary kind of depleted. Andrew Wentworth is somebody that we talked about. He didn't play this year, and you didn't know how much that was going to affect. They've used 14 different combinations this year. 14 different combinations. They broke the NFL record. So I don't know if they're going back to the Super Bowl. I think Matt Stafford would be happy with the one you got last year because it ain't looking good.
You know, the one thing about, look, we haven't even sniffed a Super Bowl in 60,
I know,
ever,
right?
60-plus years, ever. Have they ever?
65.
But if I were to envision what a Super Bowl run would look like for my team,
Yeah.
I would much rather the way it's being done now with the Lions. What did Tom Izzo always used to say? I don't want to build a team. I want to build a program, one that can compete year in, year out. You lose a guy, it doesn't matter. You're right back the next year.
Yeah.
I feel like the Rams built a team, and the Lions right now are building a program, one that can have some sustained success over the next, 4, 5, 6 years.
But they've never built anything.
I
here.
know.
But so
but it just
I would have
feels
taken
good.
I would have taken a one-hit wonder.
Well, of
Super
course,
Bowl.
of course. That's not what I'm saying. Don't mistake what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, you said you'd rather build the way we're building it.
Yeah.
And they're building it the right way. Very rarely does buying a team or buying a situation, just filling in gaps work. It worked for the Los Angeles Rams last year, and they were able, Snead was able to come out and say, F those picks. It's not looking so smart saying that now, but they still have the ring from last year. But like you said, the Lions are building something that will last this year and next year and the year after that and the year after that. The Rams are looking if they can get back on track next season. I mean, look at the Raptors. Yeah. You know, the Raptors, everybody said, oh, that was just Kawhi. They have been building that foundation, and now every year that foundation is strong, and it's getting even stronger with Scotty Barnes. I know I keep going all over.
Looks like the Florida Marlins. Remember the Florida Marlins?
Oh, yeah. He built it
twice.
They built it up.
Twice.
I would have taken that.
Yeah.
As a Tiger fan. Wouldn't you have taken that?
Take it, but of course you take it.
Okay.
You take it, but then you be complaining 2 years later. It's like, shoot. And now you become an afterthought. Now you become the team that's on Instagram trying to remind you of how good they were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, as opposed to the team that's right there every year.
Yeah, no one goes to see them even.
Exactly.
Nobody goes to see him.
I'd rather that team that's every year people are talking about they got a shot. Every year they're fighting for the NFC or the AFC versus, we got a ring. Oh, yeah, it was 11, 12, 13 years ago. So, yeah.
Hey, last Sunday was a phenomenal day. We talked about it yesterday. The games were amazing.
Saturday and
all
Sunday.
one hit games, all one-score games. It's the first time 3 teams overcame 17-point deficits to win. That's the first time in NFL history that's ever happened. And
that is incredible.
We can count it down. The Vikings, the Bengals. Who was the third team? The Jacksonville Jaguars. Yep, those are the 3 teams that came back from 17-point deficits to win the game.
Crazy thing about it is you talk about having one of those guys now a quarterback. I mean, you look at this list, 2 of those guys are on him. You can say what you want to about
2 number 1 overall picks, Joe Burrow and
100%, Trevor Lawrence. You can say what you want to about him. He's going to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is going to be one of those guys. Kirk Cousins sneaks his way on that list. He's still fighting for that love.
He finds his way on all these lists.
And he finds his way for us to argue about him. Somebody's going to be on the side of, hey, Kirk Cousins, I don't care what you say. And then there will people be like, but what about at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m.? So he still becomes an enigma every week. He keeps shaking the argument. Or he won't shake the argument.
Hey, we talked about the Commanders getting screwed by the refs on Sunday night for about a minute yesterday. I just want to put it up again. Put up this text from Alan Bell and show the referee again saying okay to Curtis Samuel on the play where he threw a flag.
Has the league ever answered about this?
No, and everyone is complaining about it. But they're just sweeping it under the rug. Dean Blandino went all over it yesterday. He's the chief of officiating.
He used to be.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, it's an embarrassment.
And the league has not said anything about this. Is that correct?
Nothing.
Because I am dying to see what the league says about this, because the NFL is now involved in gambling.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey.
Look at this.
You cannot look at that play and not tell me that guy's not on the take.
Yeah.
Or that this game was not fixed.
Here's another thing.
You can't tell me it.
Here's another thing. I'm gonna go outside the gambling world. I'm gonna go outside the betting world, Ryan. My voice seems to sound a little bit better right now. I'm gonna say this: who's the owner of the Washington Commanders?
Hey,
don't you think for 1 second?
I never thought of that.
Don't you think for 1 second, the league, the NFL, the owners,
so that goes back into my category 2, though.
Commissioner, don't you think for 1 second that they want the freaking Washington Commanders? And it's nothing that the players did. It's how their owner has been for the last 15, 20 years. Don't you think for 1 second that didn't have something to do with Dan Snyder?
Well, then there you go. That goes into my category 2 about
I agree with you.
rigged.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Right?
It is.
Yeah. This guy's either on the take or gambling, or it's rigged.
Because I'm telling you, once you think about it, you're like, oh, shoot, Dan Snyder is the owner of the Washington Commanders. That has something to do with them hating Dan Snyder for a good reason, too. Still can't punish the players, though.
I'm surprised. $4 billion is a lot of money. Well, we can talk about Matt Ishbia finalizing a deal to buy the Phoenix Suns. I feel like $4 billion might get it done in the NFL too. $4 billion for an NBA franchise.
What did Denver just go for? Denver just went for, was it 6?
Yeah.
Denver
No, they didn't go for 6. They went for a little less. The Reds.
It was like 5, 7 or something.
Washington's going to go for 6 or 7.
That's what it is.
That's what's going to happen.
NBA team to go for $4 billion.
That's
a lot of money.
Me and Maz were talking about buying an NBA team if we were to hit the lottery.
NHL, we got it easy.
NHL, that's right.
Yeah.
NHL.
Fletch, what do you want me to do here? Do you want to do stuff at studio? Dan, he's got to call Dan real quick. How about we do something else? Let's do Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Let me tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. I hear that, Maz. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac all month long at Les Stanford in Dearborn. You can get a 2022 Silverado just $285 a month, $1995 down. How about a Malibu for $225 a month? With $1995 down. You can bring in the new year with new wheels at LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuffa Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
With the holiday season here, Swiss Insurance wants to remind you those gifts of jewelry and collectibles, you want to insure them. In the last 2 weeks, Swiss has saved its clients an average of 26% on their insurance premiums while increasing their coverage. That's a lot of money for the given season. Got to have money to give, ladies and gentlemen. Happy holidays from Swiss Insurance, and also, go blue.
That's right, go blue,
Go
and
blue,
go
baby.
Honolulu blue. How about that?
And silver.
No doubt about it. Let's bring him in, our weekly chat with Lions play-by-play voice on 97.1 The Ticket, and of course, Fox 2 Sports Director Dan Miller, who is having a lot of fun calling these games. Dan, I got to tell you, it is almost required viewing for me to watch these YouTube clips that you guys have out there that the Lions put out. It just looks like you're having a ball in that booth calling winning football for the first time in a long time, my friend.
I mean, winning is everything, guys. You know that. You guys have been around this thing long enough. It's fun. You're having a great time. You're sharing it with your buddies up in the booth. Lomas loving it. TJ's loving it. You know, Al, Mike, Joe, they're loving it. We're just having fun up there. I mean, this team's playing well, and they're making plays, and that's always a fun thing to watch. So it's a great ride. We'll see where it goes. Obviously, they still have a lot of work to do, but the main thing is, man, it's just great to see all these fans buying in and seeing these fans happy and these fans understanding that this team is now showing us that they're building something here on a foundation that's not just a fluke. It's whatever happens this year. I think people see the direction of this franchise, and it looks like it's moving in the right direction. The vision that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have is a good one.
Dan Miller, I always enjoy my Tuesdays with you. I just want to say something first. I tweeted out something yesterday. I saw your reaction on the last the touchdown, the game-winning touchdown by the Detroit Lions, and I saw your reaction. I saw the call, and I tweeted at you. I said, man, I'm glad I lived in the era where Dan Miller was the voice of the Detroit Lions, and I mean that with all due sincerity. It was watching. I'm not even a Lions fan, and watching it, I was like, yes, wait. That's my Jets that they're playing against. Wait. So I appreciate you, man. The energy was electric. I was there. I had the chance to be there, and it was electric. I want to ask you one question, just one question only. What were your thought processes? Take me inside when the Lions got stopped on the goal line stand and the Jets got the ball. Take me there, Dan Miller.
You mean in the first quarter?
Yes, in the first quarter.
Yeah, and number one, thank you for that, the kind words. I appreciate that, Braylon. And look, I'm blessed to do what I do, and I'm thrilled to be doing it. And, you know, people have been incredibly kind, and, you know, I'm just beyond blessed. That's all I can say about that. Look, I thought they moved the ball against the Jets early in that game. They got down there. It's 4th and less than one inside the one, I think the call there is to go for it. I think if coming out of that, I felt like, okay, they're moving the ball, so let's just see when they get it back what happens. Now, they did move the ball real well the rest of the game, but I think if I had any thought right after that, it was, man, I wish one of those downs they might have thrown the ball, because it is one of their strengths to be able to go hard play action and then see if you can get somebody open. But they just ran it 4 times, and that's a really good Jets defense. You know, even without Quinn and Williams, you got some studs up there. So, look, a little frustrated, and I think it always makes you think, okay, did you miss an opportunity there? Is that going to come back to haunt you? But, you know, thankfully in this game it didn't, and it just turned out to be, after that, a tough day to move the ball against that Jets defense.
Dan, we talk about SOL so many times. Now everybody's talking about BNL, brand new Lions, because that's a game, and Dan Campbell admitted it after the game, so that's a game we probably don't win earlier in the season or even last year, but they're winning those games now. Does it all boil down to just confidence?
I think there's some of that. I think, look, you learn how to win, and I think you get into situations where you've had positive games before, where you look at it and you say, okay, we've been here, we can make plays, versus a team that constantly loses that game and you're waiting for something bad to happen. So, look, we always talk about it. You have to learn how to win. I think you have to learn how to react in those situations and be confident in those situations and do your job in those situations and not overreact and worry that your buddy next to you, your teammate next to you, is not going to do his job. It's about trust, confidence, all those things that good teams have that make plays late in games. And I think this team is young, but they're starting to acquire that, and they're starting to figure those things out. So it's I think one of the things that we've seen change with them is the way that they play late in games, but also it's playing a clean game. It's not turning the ball over. It's 7 or 8 games now in a row they haven't lost the turnover battle. Penalties have kind of cropped up the last 2 games, and they got to get that cleaned up. Minnesota and this one too. But, you know, to your point, Ryan, look, I just think it is, when you have been somewhere before and done it successfully, doing really anything in life, when you get there again, you believe you can do it. And if you do it multiple times, your belief is even stronger. So, I believe there's something happening here where these guys just feel comfortable in those situations, or at least comfortable being uncomfortable, that they can get it done.
And Dan Campbell was talking, we played a soundbite earlier in the show, too, about Dan Campbell talking about the young guys. Look, they don't know any better. They're just like, okay, where are we going? Who are we playing? Let's go do it. I mean, these young guys, they don't really care about 65-plus years of baggage. They don't know any better. That's a good thing, right?
That's a great point. And I think that's one of the things that sometimes gets lost in all this is Kirby Joseph doesn't know anything about 2008. He doesn't know anything about Matt Millen. He doesn't know anything about Marty Morningway. He doesn't know anything about anything that happened, you know, other than probably knowing Barry Sanders and all those things. But while you put that uniform on, you have to wear what has happened in the franchise in the past. It doesn't mean that it impacts you or affects you, because you're not aware of most of that. These young guys weren't alive when a lot of the things that we're talking about happened. So, look, I've said it to you before probably. One of my favorite lines was from Sheila Hamp, which took over the team, and she said, we can't hide from our past. And I love that, because you know what? It is recognition of where they've been, and you're not trying to just paint some rosy picture that things have gone well, because they haven't. But you need to change that conversation, and to change that conversation by winning, change that conversation by building the franchise correctly. But I think sometimes it's too easy for people to just push the easy button and say SOL. And I get it. I mean, this franchise has been through a lot and not done it well for a long time. But, man, every year it's different. And the players in 2008 that were 0-16 have nothing to do with the players that are winning now in 2022. It's everybody. Look, every general manager that's come through here, every head coach that's come through here has been able to write their own script. They haven't written it well, and they haven't done the job to the point that we'd all appreciate. Yeah. But, you know, Steve Mariucci didn't have anything to do with Jim Schwartz, and Jim Schwartz didn't have anything to do with Jim Caldwell.
Hey, Dan Miller, you're 100% correct. I said I had one question. I lied. I got 2. My apologies. It's just so fun talking to you. You're absolutely right. They don't know about it, but you know who does know about it is Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell knows about 08. Talk about the job, giving him credit for knowing about 08, but not bringing that 08 stink to this new team. Kind of him knowing, but allowing this team to be their own new team.
Yeah, and I do think, Braylon, that's a great point. I do think it is important that leadership understands where the franchise has been. I don't necessarily think it's important that the players do. Maybe if it gives them motivation and they want to be the ones that change it. But he was here in 2008. Now, he got hurt and wasn't around for most of it, but he understands what this franchise is. He knows what this fan base is. He knows what has gone on here before. So, look, I do think there is some value in that, to have somebody who gets what these fans have been through. It's not going to come in here and sell them a load of BS and try to convince them that, you know, he can magically snap his fingers and make things different than some other coach has before. It's about putting in the work, and it's about making the right decisions. But it doesn't hurt to also understand the fan base's psyche and their emotional damage that has been done by this franchise over the years, and to respect that, because you can't just push it aside. If you're a player, go play. But if you're a coach, understand what this fan base has been through. If you're a GM, understand what this fan base has been through. Doesn't mean it impacts your decisions, but it does allow you to understand maybe how sometimes they question things, maybe sometimes how they react to things. And I think Dan Campbell, having been here, I do agree. I think there's value to that.
Hey, Dan, I got a couple for you, one at a time here. Let's just say the Lions and the Packers win out, all right? And they meet in Week 18. Lions are 8-7, and the other guys are 8-8. 9-7, 9-7 versus 8-8. What do you think? How do you coach that team up against a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who has a history against you? I know this particular team beat Green Bay and Detroit 15-9, but let's just say they meet in Green Bay with a shot to go to the playoffs.
Let me approach that two different ways. One, I think you just do what you've been doing. I don't think you change the way you coach because it's Aaron Rodgers. I think your defense continues to do the things that have allowed them to be more successful in the second half of the season, the first half of the season. Now you game plan for Aaron Rodgers, but you can't go out there worried about the fact that this is a Hall of Fame quarterback back there that is, you know, beating this franchise over their head for 15 years. You have to go out there and do your job. And if you're that concerned about who he is, then I think that's going to detract from you doing your job. So, I mean, I think the coaches will respect his talents, get his guys ready to attack what he does well. And I think if you get overwhelmed by the fact that it's Aaron Rodgers, I think that can be problematic for a defense. But let me go bigger picture than that, Matt. And I kind of thought about this last night when I watched Rodgers after the game kind of take that shot at the Lions and, you know, Rodgers being Rodgers. And you know what? He's great at it. And he's a great player. And he's a great, you know, guy when it comes to playing mind games. And I thought to myself, you know what? If it comes down to that, good. Because to get where you want to be and to be the team that you ultimately want to be, you have to beat the teams that are in your way. And what would be more symbolic of the Lions putting all of this behind them than to beat Aaron Rodgers, a guy who's beaten them several times for a division title in the final game of the season? What would be more symbolic than saying, you know what, this is the mountain we have to climb. This is ultimately the team that has ruled this division that we have to beat. And if it's him and it's the Packers, bring it. You know what? I'm not saying they'll win, but understand, if you want to be the team that we all want them to be in this league, you can't duck anybody. You can't have anybody not show up on a Sunday. So bring it, and let's go out there and see if they're good enough. And if they're not, you know what? It tells you what you have to do in the offseason. So the more I thought about it, the more I thought, and this is not taunting Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. I respect him more than any player the Lions have played. He has tormented my life for a long time. And I think he's a great player.
With you.
And I have nothing but respect for him. But you know what? He's where we want to be. And if he's the last guy that's in the way of where we want to be, then you know what? Line up, see if you're good enough to beat him, and then you know where you stand.
And if you remember when they did beat him, beat him at Ford Field, he said, "You can't lose to that team." I mean that sticks with me.
Aaron Rodgers, man.
Yeah, I love it. I
think smack talker. I mean, that's what he does, but he backs it up. So I got no problem with him. Like I said, I respect the heck out of him. The two guys probably that I have been tormented by the most on opposing teams.
Same team.
Aaron Rodgers and Danielle Hunter. I mean, those two guys have just beaten the Lions over the head multiple times. And you know what? We just had a nice day against Danielle Hunter. Let's see if we can have another nice day against Rodgers. But look, I kind of got a chill when he said that because I thought, oh, man, he's got that look in his eye. But you know what, guys? You can't duck that stuff. Ultimately, you want to be the best, beat the best. And that's what Aaron Rodgers has been in this division for a long time. So there's a lot of ground to cover between now and then. But let's see what happens if it ultimately comes to that.
Hey, this was, to me, the greatest weekend the NFL has ever put out, to me, of watching football. Unbelievable. But the way it ended on Sunday Night Football, to me, was a disgrace. I know you're a Washington fan, so I'm going to ask you.
Used to be.
No, he still is. You never lose it. Okay? I mean, was that not the biggest disgrace you've ever seen in your entire life, what that referee did on the side?
I think that.
Come on.
Braylon could probably speak to that more because I'm sure Braylon has checked with officials hundreds of times about it, whether or not he was on the line and in proper position. But, that didn't look kosher. And then the pass interference was clear as well. I thought it was just a bad look for the NFL for the two plays on Sunday night. I got a Washington fan over here, Greg Canner, pumping his fist at me.
Yeah.
I thought both those plays were just not representative of what the NFL
They were
wants to
fishy.
see. They were fishy. They were bad.
Yeah, and fishy.
I haven't heard an official explanation from the NFL on the receiver situation yet, but it didn't look good.
You won't see and you won't hear an expression either. It's because look who the owner.
You get the Tuesday letter, Braylon, saying,
no, you're not getting one of those because look who the owner of the Washington Commanders is. It's Dan Snyder. That's payback, baby.
Rigged.
Disgusting.
It was terrible.
Tell Canner we got his back on that one. Hey, Dan, thanks, my friend. We appreciate it. And look, this is fun, man.
Yeah,
this is fun. Lions at Panthers on
500 in December.
Hey, man, look, you could wake up Christmas morning. The Seattle Seahawks are 10-point underdog on the road at Kansas City. The Washington Commanders a 7-point underdog on the road at San Francisco. The Lions could control their own destiny with 2 games to play when you wake up on Christmas morning. Thanks, Dan. We'll see you later, okay?
Appreciate you guys.
I appreciate it, Dan, as always.
You got it. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more from the Lions. Are they America's team? Are the Lions now America's team? We'll get on that, but first a message from SMA.
SMA, the sports market agency, is here to dispel the myths of mental health as well as substance abuse. Their podcast, this is the S word. S word stands for stigma because we're trying to destigmatize mental health. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it is okay to not be okay. But when you're not okay, you need answers. You need information. You need a platform where you can go to get answers. And that platform for you is thesportsma.com. Sean Jordan does an amazing job of providing you with content, providing you people, giving you in-depth personal stories of things that they've overcome. Why not take advantage of something like that? thesportsma.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Schnari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly
NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey, it's lobster time. Cousins Maine Lobster.com. You got to love it. Who doesn't love lobster? Lobster bisque, They got it all going for you. And Woodward Sports always brought to you by Cousins Maine Lobster. Get on it right now. Get on their website. Find out that schedule for their trucks. 2 trucks rolling around Detroit. One was in St. Clair Shores over the weekend. I got to see it at one of the breweries there on Mack Avenue. So Cousins Maine Lobster is phenomenal. Go ahead right now, cousinsmainelobster.com. Check out that food truck schedule and give them a call. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
It is time now for our Swiss Insurance play of the game. How about that?
And the coverage of the week.
And the coverage of the week.
Yeah.
Swiss Insurance coverage of the week. Check this out right here, Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are in one-man press. You see you have a safety. The safety is in charge of the running back. And then you see the receivers. The receivers are manned up. And it looks like it's going to slip to a cover 0. But let's see the next snap. All right, here we are. We are in one man. Yeah, it's still one man. You see the tight end slip out. Now, right here with Brock right there. Brock Wright made it seem like he was going to give extra help at the line of scrimmage. And then once he taps, punch, you get about a 2-second release. Then you slide underneath the outside linebacker, and you slide underneath the Mike linebacker. And basically what you're doing, you're seeing Brock just disappear. Give me the next clip right there.
Oh, man, they were selling out on that run. Selling out on that run.
See what happens when you have a good offensive line, you have a good run game. And then what happens when you have guys that are able to do their job and stay patient. Patience is the key. Brock White executes it to perfection. This is something Ben Johnson's hidden there for a minute, catches the ball, and then he starts his way to the end zone. Look at this. Now he gets to about the 20-25. Looks like he's going to get tackled. Brock White says, no. The Detroit Lions get into the end zone, and this is the Swiss coverage play of the week. And the reason why it's the coverage is you don't want coverage like this. This is an example of what you don't want. You want to be on the winning side, and the winning side is my man down there at Swiss Insurance Group, Mark.
Speaking of my man, we'll swing it over to my man, Tom Mazawey, who has this from the Foaling Warehouse.
Yes, sir. Love the Foaling Warehouse. Football and bowling. Get on down to Hamtramck. Ask for Chris Hutt. Tell him that Woodward Sports sent you. 2 ways to play. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for $120. You get it for 2 hours, but you can put 10 or 12 people on that lane. Bring your own food in or have it delivered. What a beer menu they have. Over 100 beers to offer. Has any drink you want. And the $2 mystery beer machine. Get your foal on right now. Foaling Warehouse.
Lots of beer.
.com for more info.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuffa Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Planet Fitness, the official studio sponsor
Wait, you're not
of
JB?
Woodward Sports. I'm not. I'm worse than JB. Also, home in a judgment-free zone where you can
judgments,
work
Maz.
out for just $10 a month.
Only
That's it.
$10?
Upgrade to the black card. You get unlimited guest privileges. That means you can bring anyone in you want.
Bring anybody in.
Massage
Hydro
and more.
massage.
Joining the club today or go to planetfitness.com.
Go to planetfitness.com.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Guys, are the Detroit Lions, we're going to talk a lot of Michigan
Lions?
football tomorrow. We're going to talk a lot of Michigan
About time.
football
Jesus
tomorrow.
Christ.
I know.
Why are we talking Michigan?
Because we're
It's like
very
a month
excited
away
Because they're
still.
for the
13 and 0. Okay,
we
13
got
and
a
0.
playoff game. Can I just say, right here and now, I think the Detroit Lions in 2022 are America's team. I think everybody is rooting for the Detroit Lions. There isn't one national pundit, one national show, be it Colin Cowherd, Get Up, NFL Live, Good Morning Football,
Chris Berman,
Boomer,
Prime Time.
Nobody's not rooting for the Lions.
You ready? You know why? One, everybody was on early on in the summer as training camp was happening, as Hard Knocks were happening. People were starting to buy in. Then when you go 1-6, it's very easy
really hard
for people to disappear. They want the Lions to do well. So now that the Lions are back, everybody's back. But do you know really why it is? Even though the Lions haven't had success, the Lions have been in the public eye of not having success for the past 30 years. People have watched across the country as the Lions have
30 years.
Well, I'm saying in terms of major media markets, the last 30 years, people watch them lose leagues, lose on Thanksgiving, lose on Monday Night Football, not having Monday Night Football games, going 0-16. They've seen the heartbreak that is the Detroit Lions, but the Lions have always had a stand-up organization. Now, we may have not liked it because they haven't brought the right guys in, et cetera, but you don't see scandal. You don't see a team that isn't run the right way in terms of by the ownership in terms of the forwards. They're run the right way from top to bottom. Just hear me out. They're run the right way from top to bottom. You don't see scandal. You don't see players doing dumb things. And if they had, it's been very few and far in between. So I think that you see that a great organization finally now winning, and when they've been losing for a time, everybody wants them to succeed.
You know, it's just so much fun, Maz. And they're a fun team to watch, too. They're a good watch. Remember how many times we have watched the Detroit Lions and we've said they've played the worst game of the week?
Yeah.
Like you got stuck
The worst
watching
announcers, the worst everything.
It's just not even fun. It's not enjoyable. You hate to watch the game. They don't entertain you. Man, are these guys entertaining, and they have been the absolute most fun team to watch this season.
Pro
according
Football Focus
to Pro
put that
Football
out.
Focus.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's Chris Collinsworth and the guys.
Think about when they're losing, too. They lost 38-35 to Philadelphia.
Yep.
Entertaining
They
game.
only have
48-45
They
to
only
Seattle.
have one
Entertaining
black
game.
eye on their schedule this year, and that's the game you
Patriot
want. That's
game.
the Patriots game. Outside of that Patriots game, they have no black eyes on their
Nope.
schedule. They were right there. And the curious thing about it is, and most of those losses, Maz, what are you saying? The Lions gave that game away instead of saying they lost. Outside of the Philadelphia Eagles, outside of that Eagles team and the Patriots game, they pretty much gave most of those games away, and maybe the Seattle Seahawks.
Their coaching staff did not help them in those losses.
Yeah, 100%.
But they're better now, and they're getting better. Now, just get that clock management underway, and you'll be fine. Look what Robert Saleh did to his team last week, and he feels bad. I mean, and they roasted him in New York yesterday, but he said, I wish I didn't sleep last night. I wish I could have that last 50 seconds back. He would have called the timeout right away and saved time. We're happy that he messed up. So
That's one thing I
thank you.
do love, man. Tell me if you think I'm right about this one. The younger coaches now, the coaches that are coaching NFL now, all these coaches take onus.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like the Bill Cowers, like the elite, that list of coaches, like Belichick's and the Parcells, those guys weren't admitting blame. Those guys weren't necessarily owning up. Like now, the young guys, they come out at the beginning. Look at Dan Campbell. Look at Sean McVay. Look at Zach Taylor.
Well, they're coached up too, man, because they
One,
have these
Kyle
social
Shanahan,
media teams.
exactly.
They got these guys that are behind the scenes, the PR guys, the social media people. I mean, you know what's out there.
Yeah.
You can't escape. Back in the day, you didn't have social media.
Bill Belichick doesn't have. He
don't care.
Exactly. He's
don't care.
grandfathered in. He's grandfathered in. But
He
I
doesn't
just
care.
like the way that they take onus and move forward. It's very good.
Amen.
Anyway, it's good to be a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying. And this has been one of the most unique seasons in NFL history for any franchise.
We might get
ever.
flexed to a night game.
Not only that, you might win the freaking Super Bowl.
You might. You just might.
I'm not saying anything that's crazy here, and I'm not. Look, I'm just not.
Hey,
look, they could get to the Super Bowl.
ask the Patriots about the Giants.
Hey,
ask them
again. Let me tell you guys.
There's only one quarterback in the NFC that's better than Jared Goff.
If they get a 7 seed, guys, if they get a 7 seed, they can go to Minnesota and win. You think I'm crazy all you want. You thought I was crazy when I said this team would win 10 games. You thought I was crazy the whole time. It's fine. I am not crazy. Okay? I am not crazy. Tell me a 7 seed can't go to Minnesota and win a football game.
Put that straight jacket
back. Cincinnati
back.
was last year.
Jalen Hurts, by the way, is hurt with his shoulder. Hey, you know what? If he sits out this week, maybe he'll sit out another week. If you're telling me the 7 seed goes to 1 seeded Philadelphia with a quarterback who has sat for 2 of 4 weeks, essentially, because if he sits this week, they have the bye week.
Yeah.
You could have said, yeah. So
I get it, and I'm excited.
Don't rain on my parade.
I'm not raining on your parade. I saw the Cincinnati Bengals do it last year. I saw the Cincinnati Bengals be the 7th seed and go to the Super Bowl. I'm not raining on the parade at all. I'm just saying it's not all Jalen Hurts when you look at the Eagles. It's that defense, it's the offensive line, it's the running game as well. But I'm not raining on your parade because there's nothing stopping the Detroit Lions once they get in the playoffs. I'm not raining on it.
I am not crazy.
Ryan Ermanni, hold on. I'm gonna take you through it real quick. Last year, before the Michigan season, you said Michigan would do what?
Win the Big Ten championship, beat Ohio State.
And lose to Michigan State. What'd they do last year?
They lost to Michigan State, beat Ohio State, won the Big Ten championship.
Last year, you said Aiden Hutchinson would get more votes than K9 and actually get to New York for the Heisman Trophy. What did Aiden Hutchinson do last year?
Aiden Hutchinson got more votes than K9 and got to the Heisman Trophy.
Going into this season, you said the University of Michigan Wolverines win how many games?
12-0.
And they will do what?
Win the Big Ten championship and win the national championship.
Outside that last one, what's Michigan right now?
12-0.
13-0.
13-0.
You're 100% correct. Going into this season, you said that the Detroit Lions will win how many games
10
and
games.
do what?
10 games, make the playoffs.
Ryan Ermanni, you're not crazy. Everything that you say is slowly but surely coming to fruition.
baby.
So for all you people out there,
Come on.
the proof is in the pudding.
That's my wide receiver.
And that's my quarterback.
That's my wide receiver.
That's my quarterback.
All right, guys. Hey, we're going to take a break. Speaking of quarterbacks, big decision made by one of the local guys. The best quarterback in the state of Michigan has flipped his commitment, but it's not to a school.
I thought you were going to talk about another quarterback.
What?
I thought you were going to talk about another quarterback that was a local quarterback.
Who's that?
I'll tell you after the break.
Oh, gosh. Deep dive.
Deep.
But
a
first
message from
Stafford Studio.
That's right, and that's what we're doing right now at Woodward Sports. We were lucky enough to go to Meijer yesterday, and manager Mike took us around, and we just filled up 3 shopping carts worth of toys, and it was so much fun. Every year we team up with Mike at Meijer on 12 Mile and Telegraph and Guardian Alarm to kick off Stuff a Studio. We want you to help us stuff our studio full of new unwrapped toys for the children of Mott's Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor. Stop by all week long. Come on and see us. Drop off a toy from 7 to 9 and 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. or send a donation to our Venmo. Venmo is at Woodward Sports. At Woodward Sports is the Venmo. We'll do the shopping for you. This is the season to give back to the children. Stuff a Studio 2022, powered by Wicked Awesome Wishes.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes present Hope for the Holidays. Jeff Okuda gives his financial support, time, and love for the city of Detroit with Chad Johnson and his amazing foundation, Wicked Awesome Wishes. Together, Jeff and Chad have been game planning all year long to make this Christmas one to remember for underprivileged children and their families. Special thanks to Lions players Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tracy Walker, Will Harris, and more, along with Lions alumni Lomas Brown and Joyak Bell, and the awesome people at Lighthouse Community Building in Oak Park. Together, we'll make sure every child has new shoes, warm coats, hats, and socks, plus free haircuts to help everyone feel their best. And don't forget Woodward Sports' Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, and Darren McCarty will be there too. Hope for the holidays from Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes.
At Alta.
Uptime. It matters.
Uptime matters on Alta Equipment. They got everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call today. They got you covered. Call them today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Hey, guys, want to get this in. Dante Moore, the number 1 quarterback in the state of Michigan, number 3 quarterback out there, number 9 overall recruit in the class of 2023 from Detroit King, flipped his commitment. He was a long-time Oregon commit.
Yeah.
He flipped his commitment to UCLA. This is a great decision on this young man's part, I think, on a number of levels.
It's a great decision. Now, I'm gonna save the last one for you because you had a home run with that in the group chat. One reason is this. He didn't think Bo Nix was coming back for another year. Bo Nix coming back for his 6th year. Bo Nix in the Heisman talk at one point during this season. So if I'm Dante, I'm like, do I feel like sitting behind Bo Nix? And so he said, no, you know what? That's one thing. Thing two, you look over there at UCLA. DTR is the quarterback right now. Dorian Thompson's Rogers. Chip Kelly has him. That it's something to have a coach that knows how to use a black quarterback. And you can say what you want to. It's not playing the black game. If I'm a black quarterback, I'm looking at a black quarterback having success at a Power 5 school. UCLA was ranked in the top 10 at one point this year. I think they were ranked 10th, if I'm right. So that's a smart decision on his part. But then the last thing, you hit the nail in the coffin. What's the last reason why a guy like Dante Moore, who's from Detroit, Detroit King, which is Big Ten country, Ryan Ermanni.
UCLA going to the Big Ten in 2024, and Oregon's being out in the cold. We have no idea what's going to happen to the Pac-12 conference. No idea what's going to happen to that conference. So you are now going to the preeminent conference in college football when USC and UCLA come over in 2024. That is going to be the talk of the college football world. Not to say that Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC won't be, but you are now in one of the 2 best conferences in college football, and to have the opportunity to play a game at Michigan Stadium, to have the opportunity to play a game at Michigan State
or the Horseshoe,
Spartan Stadium, or the Horseshoe at some point in your career, I think goes a long way with a Detroit kid. So Dante Moore, good for him.
Not to mention this, Maz, I know you would agree with this. If I'm a kid going to college, I would much rather be on that UCLA campus than that campus in Eugene, Oregon.
Well, I'll tell you, they do roll out the carpet at Oregon, too. They got a lot of money. They got Phil Knight from Nike, and I do believe the Ducks will be in the Big Ten. Maybe not in 2024, but coming ahead. I got a quarterback story for you guys now. You ready?
Yep.
A couple weeks ago, I thought Baker Mayfield going to the Rams, he was going to be the number 1 guy going forward. Matthew Stafford's going to retire. Well, on his wife's podcast yesterday, Kelly Stafford had Matt Stafford on and asked him. She said, I know the answer, but are you retiring, Matthew? And he said, no. Quick and no. That's all it was. So Matthew Stafford will return next season. They owe him $27.5 million for next year. Plus, he's got some bonus money coming up. Probably can make another $40 million in the next 2 years. I still think Baker Mayfield stays there and will be back up to Matthew Stafford. That's my take. What's your take on Matthew playing another year?
That's what I said. That's what I said. We talked about a little bit last week. You look at the success that he had last year. It felt good to be a guy that he talked about in national broadcasts, talking about national commercials. You look at the Subway commercial. You look at the Progressive commercial. Not Progressive, excuse me. You look at the AT&T commercial. It feels good when you're winning, to win a Super Bowl, to be talked about the way he did. It feels good. You get used to it. You don't want to just do it once. So I think he definitely wants to play. He wants to show people because, you win a Super Bowl, you win a championship. It's amazing. But the guys that do it multiple times will tell you the second time was validation. Or the second time being there shows you I was for real. So I think that's what he's looking like. And that's why Baker Mayfield won't go anywhere. Because why would I leave a situation that's this good? Yeah. I'd rather be the backup quarterback for a franchise situation that's already going well as opposed to trying to keep going places and find my luck. I would rather back up Matt Stafford.
And not only that, but how much longer does Stafford have, even if he comes back next year, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's playing with a lot of injuries, man.
Two more years you give him?
Even one, man. You get one more injury to the head after you've had several.
Now is when you got to listen to your partner.
Yeah.
He's got a back injury.
One more injury to the head and one more injury to the spine. Forget it. He doesn't need it anymore. He's made over, $150 million.
If not more.
He's got his Super Bowl ring. What do you need to keep doing this for? So
they just love football, right? They just love football.
Guys, what an honor to be here at Lighthouse on Coolidge in Oak Park. Jeff Okudah, the Detroit Lions, teaming up with Chad Johnson and Wicked Awesome Wishes for Hope for the holidays. Later today, 150 families going to get a chance to meet Lions players, get haircuts, get socks, shoes, hats, coats, other prizes. Yeah. Lots going on here. So we are just really happy that we're a small part of it and we get to be here for an event like this.
You're definitely happy, man. You're happy to be a part of events like this, man. It's the giving season, and it's the giving season for a reason. When you give, not only does it help somebody, impact somebody, it feels good. Like, it feels good to give. So the more you give, the better you feel. The more you give other people, they now know how to give. They now know where to give. And also, I love Wicked Awesome Wishes and Jeff Okudah with the Detroit Lions, what they're doing. Sometimes people want to give. They just don't know where. They don't know where, and they don't know what outlet to use. Well, use Wicked Awesome Wishes and Lady Jane's, man. This is a hell of a thing to give to. Jeff Okudah, great job by you.
No doubt about it. Tom Mazawey, good stuff out of you today. Good show.
Thanks,
you
fellas.
put together for us today.
I always try, man. Hey,
right.
Pistons home tonight for the Jazz. Red Wings will be on the road. They'll be home for Tampa Bay tomorrow. That should be a hell of a game. They made a 3-team trade, by the way. They traded away Giovanni Smith,
Nice.
so I know a lot of guys liked him, but we wish him the best.
Here's a question for you. Yesterday, the Washington Capitals played – it was yesterday. Yesterday, the Washington Capitals played the Red Wings.
Yep.
With a chance for Ovi to pass Gordie Howe, who played lifetime, legendary, longtime for. Do you think it's set up like that when they're looking at schedules? They're breaking down the analytics. Like you know what? I think by this time, Ovi should be able to break the record. So let's make the Caps play the Wings on this day, because it seems kind of fishy that he just so could pass Gordie Howe on the day they play the Red Wings.
I flipped that game on real late. I saw it's 3-3. I'm like, he
broke it, and he didn't score a goal.
Right? Yeah, I was like,
they look at things like that. They have to.
It's all good, man. Hey, do we have a minute or do we got to go?
Yeah, I got a minute.
Okay, listen. Last night, the Colorado Avalanche are playing the New York Islanders. Matt Barzal for the Islanders is in his own zone. And Kyle McCarr, one of the best defensemen in the league, won the Norris Trophy last year. The referee was behind the net. He puts his arm up for a trip. It looked like Kyle McCarr tripped by Taylor Barzal. You ready for this?
Yep.
McCarr goes up to the ref and says, he didn't trip me. He did not trip me. And he said, okay. He goes on the mic, no penalty.
Wow.
And they won 1-0 in a shootout, the Avalanche did. So they each got a point. But that
I don't think we've ever seen that in
I've never seen it,
sports.
but I think it's great. What great sportsmanship, but I don't know.
I've only seen it one time. And to this day, I guarantee you Stick knows what I'm talking about. Everybody listening knows what I'm talking about. There's this commercial where there's a basketball player in high school, and he goes up and tells the ref, he says, hey, ref, that ball hit off me. It was the other guy. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen somebody do in a game. But guess what? I guess it does exist in professional ranks because he did it last night. Good job for him.
Isn't that cool?
I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. But
Santa Spence is here?
Hey, is that Santa Spence? Hey,
the heavyweights.
Where's the hair?
The heavyweights coming up 5-7. Look at the heavyweights, baby.
Santa, you're looking good, man.
Yeah.
It does.
You're looking good. Thanks, bro.
Goodness.
I
Very
have.
good.
I have.
All right, Fletch, JB, you guys rock. Bray, get us out of here.
Hey, man, hell of a job by you guys. Excited to be here. It's going to be Wicked Awesome Wishes. Jeff Okudah, Detroit Lions will be here. Lady Jane's ladies in the building getting set up. It's going to be a good time, man. Come on down, support. 100 families support it. Oh, man, I can't wait to do it. Let's go to keep rocking this show, man. Wednesday, we got some more stuff for you. Let's talk Michigan TCU. We'll do that tomorrow. For my man Ryan Ermanni Maz over there, JB and Fletch, and Uncle Spence, Santa Spence, Uncle Maz, and there's Fletch over there. What's going on, fellas? See you tomorrow.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.